Alright, this video we're going to move on to a second type of exponential growth equation. It's going to be dealing with money and compound interest. And you can see right here, this formula, take this down. Okay, here we have four variables. We have A, P, R, N, actually we have five, right, and T. So we have five different variables here. And again, this formula will be given to you for the quiz. It's really of you knowing which numbers to plug into which of the variables. All right, what I'm just going to do right here, I'm going to explain what each of these variables refer to. You can kind of see underneath the formula. Okay, I'm going to zoom out so we can see everything. All right. So this A right here, this is going to be the final amount. This is your account balance. So after we put in all the other numbers, this will give us how much money we have in the account after a certain amount of years. This P refers to principal amount. That is how much money you originally put into the bank. And then after a certain amount of time, it grows and you get paid more interest. Just like the last formula, R is the rate. Okay, that's percentage, the interest rate that you're being paid, that the bank's giving you. I'm going to skip the T. T is the same thing. That's time in terms of years. What's new is this N. N is the number of times that interest is paid during the year. So I'll say during 1 year. So for example, if I said your interest was compounded monthly, that means you're paid interest 12 times for the year, so N would be 12. All right, let's look at these two cases, A and B. All right, so let's move this up. And we're just going to use the formula. So let's see here. Say Maria's parents invested $14,000 at 6% per year. What that means is her parents are putting $14,000 in the bank. That's the principal amount. That's the initial amount, which is $14,000. That percentage is what they're getting paid back. They're adding on top of the $14,000. So since that's a percentage, that's the rate. Now 6%, I don't put it as 6. I leave it as a decimal. It's 0.06. I'm saying how much money will there be in the account after 10 years? So obviously T is 10. And then for A, it's saying it's compounded quarterly. So quarterly means that you're being paid interest 4 times per year, for the whole year, or for each year. So we're going to say N is 4. So what you're figuring out is this A value. So I'm going to plug everything into that formula, and then you just let the calculator do the work. So we're going to have A equals P, which is 14,000, times, then you have 1 plus the rate, which is 0.06. You divide it by N, which is 4. And then on the outside, it's N times T, so it's 4 times 10. And that's really it. These problems are really just plug and chug. Once you know what you're plugging it in, let the calculator do the work for you. If you take this whole thing and plug it into your calculator, you're going to get an answer. Make sure you round it to the nearest cent, which would be the nearest hundredth. This would give you, let's see here, $25,396.26. That would be your answer there. All right. If you moved on to B, it's the same situation, but now you're going to compound it monthly. So everything's the same. P is still 14,000, R is still 0.06, T is still 10, but what you change here is N is 12. So if you want to do B, I'm going to erase, let's see here, where N is. Let's see, I guess I can't erase it. Let's see here. Okay, I'm going to erase this. I'm going to change this to 12 and change this 4 to 12. And then you just take this new expression, plug it into your calculator, and this, it gives you, when it's compounded monthly, $25,471.55. Okay, kind of the main thing here that we go over, see how this number, this is bigger than this. What you're going to see is the bigger N is, the more money you're going to make. N in this case was 12, N in this case was 4, so therefore we made more money when N was bigger. Okay, so that's the compound interest. Again, just look at the word problems. know what to plug in for each of those variables, and then the calculator will give you the total amount of money and the account balance after a certain amount of years.